Good morning. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a podcast brought to you by Joy's House, presented in partnership with Cardon and Associates, and we're just happy you're here. If you don't already know, Caregiver Crossing is a podcast that's created just for you, the caregiver. I'm Tina McIntosh, and today we're going to talk about an important topic. According to AARP, more than 90% of people aged 60 or older want to stay in their home and community for as long as possible. Let's just say that again. 90% of people over the age of 60 want to stay in their home and community for as long as possible. So how are they going to do that, and what barriers do they have? There's one primary barrier to aging in place. It's when the home is no longer accessible or it presents a fall risk. If you've ever cared for somebody who is aging, you know falls are serious. And so Safe at Home, a service offered at CICOA by CICOA, helps individuals age in place through home accessibility modifications. Working with local contractors and funded by philanthropic dollars, CICOA's Safe at Home department completes more than 60 home modification projects each year. This year, CICOA received a $20,000 grant from our friends at Indianapolis Neighborhood Housing Partnership, also known as INHP. It's a local community development financial institution supporting affordable housing in Indianapolis, specifically supporting CICOA's Safe at Home program, providing home safety and accessibility modifications that enhance mobility, promote independence, and prevent falls for older people and people with disabilities. Also, you might recall that back in February, we aired an episode about CICOA's newly launched Pet Connect pilot program. And if you know anything about Terry and me, it's that we love our pets. I think my dog just barked in the background. And that's a program that provides pet food and supplies to low-income and homebound seniors. And so returning today to update us both on Pet Connect program and to discuss this exciting new collaboration with INHP is Tauhric Brown. He's the president and CEO of CICOA, Aging and In-Home Solutions. He's our friend. He's right here. Glad to have you back.
Thanks, Tina. It's a pleasure to be back with you all. I've been looking forward to this, by the way.
Well, you know we love you, and you're so much fun and yet so highly professional and do so many good things in our community. And you know, we just think the world of CICOA. So anything you're doing touches us and we want people to know about. So let's start with the pets. Let's start with the warm and the fuzzy of the pets. And so what's the scoop? What's the latest on the Pet Connect program?
Yeah, so I'd like to give you an update in three primary areas. So additional agency partners that have kind of come alongside us in this effort, the growth of the program since you had me on in February, and then of course, public support, because we always want to make sure the individuals who have an opportunity in giving or volunteering of their time, talent, and treasure for something like this, that they've got an easy way to do that. So in starting with the agency partners, right, I'll start out by saying, we can't do this work alone, right? It does truly take a village. And so we have decided to partner with many different pet experts in our community with aligning missions. The first one that I'll talk about is Indy Humane. So they came alongside us in June, where they brought us on as a social service agency, and they are providing food and supplies for pets monthly. We're grateful to be able to have them as a partner and are looking forward to continuing that work with them into the future. The second organization that I'll talk about is Fido. And their focus is working with dog owners to improve the quality of life for their outside dogs. They are beginning to help our what we call Pet Connect enrolled clients get the spade and neutering services that they need to help keep their pets and also get them vaccinated and those vaccinations updated annually as needed. And then lastly, Indy Neighborhood Cats. We're partnering with them to address the free roaming cat overpopulation in Marion County. We're sending them referrals. And when we have senior neighbors housing several cats that may need spayed or neutered services to help with population control. And we are also dealing with them in supporting the compassionate people who care for the cats who are calling our neighborhood homes through 4 key program areas. So community cat medical response, warm winter shelters, mobile cat food pantries, and the mobile cat food pantry has served over 7,000 cats they don't belong to anyone, they're just out there. And so we're really happy to have them come alongside us. When we talk about program growth, want to say that in December 2021, kind of when we started this, we served 3 clients in that month. Happy to report that here we are almost 9 months later. We now have 32 human clients, 58 pets, including 1 rabbit. We've provided 982 pounds of dry dog food, 444 pounds of dry cat food, 421 pounds of cat litter, and that is a total of 4,035 meals for pets.
I just stop for just a second. You started with the number 3.
Yes.
I mean,
right? I know.
So much has happened in just a matter of months. And, you mentioned the community cats. We have them. We are a community cat caregiver at our home. And those are just wonderful programs, Tauhric. Like when you started at CICOA, could you ever have imagined the need that there would be in so many areas? And looking at this Pet Connect program, like that wasn't even on the radar years ago, was it?
No, it wasn't. But, I always am grateful for learned lessons and experiences from past travels, Tina. And, at my prior organization, we did have a Pet Connect program from a grant that we initially received from Meals on Wheels of America. And so I brought that knowledge with me to Central Indiana, and it really needed to, get that concept into the minds of our leaders in our senior nutrition department. I knew it was possible. It was just a matter of what the right time was, the right capacity to do something like this. But to your initial statement of 3 in December and now look, you know what? I'm going to tell you, it's once we started putting out there that we've got this wonderful, opportunity that will provide seniors an opportunity or a chance to not have to select. Yeah, I want to get my dog food or cat food this month, or do I refill my prescription? That's a place we never want our older Hoosiers to get at. And so if there's a way for us to create something, develop something that does address that minimizes those occurrences in an older Hoosier's life, we must do that. So it's just cool. Yeah, and we know it's going to continue to grow, right? That demand and need is going to continue to be there. Pets are treasured family members of our older Hoosiers, right? And in many instances, as you know, Tina, that's the only socialization or companionship they have.
That's right.
So their pets are as important to us as they are as it relates to longevity and aging in place.
Well, that's right. I mean, it is what saves some people's lives. It's what gives them purpose. And so I just continue to be impressed with you and CICOA. Let's talk about what you're doing with your Safe at Home program, because that also is helping to keep people in their homes as long as they're able and interested.
Yeah, Safe at Home is something that's near and dear to my heart. That program is really, I explain it this way. It's helping build more enhancement and accessibility in and around the home of older Hoosiers. And when I think about repairs and modifications, when you hear that term, people generally go, oh, it's probably large scale things, but it really is not. When I think about improving and enhancing safety and accessibility, I think about hanging grab bars and handrails in showers or next to toilets to aid an individual in getting in and out of the bathtub or up and down from the toilet. I think about wobbly banisters in hallways in the home where they're tightened up so it's more sturdy, there's more mobility gain. I think about taking this 10-watt bulb out from this hallway and putting a larger watt bulb in to brighten it up so that that older adult can have full vision to where they're trying to navigate and move in and around in their homes. And
Years
then
ago, Tauhric,
yeah,
if I may, we had a guest at Joy's house, and his wife, we knew needed some help in her home. We knew there needed to be some changes. And of course, like you're saying, we thought, oh, it's going to be a ramp. It's going to be some
yeah,
big kind of a thing. And when we went into her home, it was one, helping in the yard, just clean up some of the stuff. But then she said, can you cut back my bushes? I'm always afraid somebody's going to be hiding there. Can you cut those back? Well, of course, that's an easy thing. And there was a little bit of a draft underneath the door. And if we just didn't have that draft, I think we'd be more comfortable. Okay, that's an easy thing for us to fix. And so I hear exactly when you say the
yeah,
wattage of the bulb, I think
yeah.
that paints a picture for a lot of us that it doesn't have to be you're building on an
It
ADA
doesn't.
wing of the house, right?
It
It's
doesn't.
literally just as easy as screwing in a new light bulb. And so and it can be those bigger things too. So have you had any big collaborations that we can talk about, or any that you need in case somebody has a great connection?
Yeah, so we do have some great contractors that work with us. SAWS is one, Habitat for Humanity is another. We've had great relationships with them for years, but we also have some relationships with some OT residents, right? And so we're beginning to have OT doctoral residencies here at CICOA. And as you know, that OT-PT space is really important when you're thinking about grab bars and handrails, right? Where do you hang
Yes.
them? What's the best advice and way to do that? Tacking down this frayed carpet, what might that need to look like? So that's been a fairly new thing that we've been doing over the last 12 to 24 months, and are looking forward to our next resident that is posted. We
I couldn't
just
love
did,
that, by the way, anymore,
yeah,
because I think physical therapists, we all know somehow, some way, occupational therapists, people don't get. And man, it's awesome. And when you talk about this program and bringing in students, particularly at a doctorate level, I mean, come on, let's do some
yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then, you may recall our Safe at Home community event where we got to go in and community volunteers, 150 strong out there this year, which was so wonderful to see. And we are in that Irvington area doing exactly what you've been talking about, Tina, right? Cleaning yards up and beautifying the yards for our treasured older Hoosiers, some inside work. And we did also have the benefit of placing 3 modular ramps for individuals who had become wheelchair bound or dependent on a walker and just could no longer navigate stairs. The best Saturday morning I've ever spent. I
I mean,
love those kinds of events.
absolutely. And, you think about even those 3 modular ramps, without them, they would have to move. And,
That's right.
we don't have time to go into this, but we know the state of Indiana is guilty of putting people into long-term care when they really can stay at home. And so I'm not knocking long-term care. I mean, for crying out loud, there's a place for everybody and a need. And we have some of the best, skilled nursing facilities around in our state. So I'm grateful for that. I have a lot of friends who are in the skilled nursing facility world, and they always have told me, listen, there is an absolute need and a place for us. However, no one says, I can't wait to no longer live in my own home. And so
That's
what you're
right.
doing is life changing, prolonging, fulfilling. I mean, it's just, thank you for seeing these individuals. And so I know we only have a couple minutes left here. If someone is listening and says, hey, I or someone I love could receive these services, or possibly, where would they go?
Yeah, so they can start a few different places. The first place they could go is to our website, CICOA.org, and they can fill out one of the referral forms that is automatically sent into our ADRC department, where a phone options counselor would connect with them same day or next day to identify what that need is. When you think about publicly funded programs and private pay opportunities, both exist, right? It just depends on, when people always ask me, well, who's eligible and what does it cost? And that answer is not as easy as people might think, right? Who's eligible is, well, if you're drawing that service from publicly funded resources, then generally it's 60 years of age or better. But if you're not drawing from publicly funded programs or public funds, to access services. In other words, you're going to be paying privately for that service. Well, then the age doesn't matter, right? There is not an age eligibility criteria for someone who needs a ramp put on their home, and they're paying for it privately.
Okay, so here's a great question then too. What if people want to donate to support the programs? Either one, either, the Safe at Home or the Pet Connect. How do they do that?
Yeah, so all they would have to do is go to CICOA.org's website, CICOA.org. At the top, there should be a blue donate button, and all they have to do is click that donate button, identify in a drop-down menu what program they're looking to support, and complete that donation right there on our website.
What if they can
work for them? They can also mail a check to our address if they would like to do that. Our physical location address is 8440 Woodfield Crossing Boulevard, Suite 175, Indianapolis, Indiana 46240. All
right, so here I have another question, and then I promise we're going to wrap up here. But we could talk all day. We know this.
Yes.
I can close my eyes and say, all right, $50,000 donation makes a huge impact. What if I can only donate $5?
Oh, Tina, it's never a matter of the amount. We have many of our older Hoosiers who donate $2 because that's what they can give. And they really do understand the work that we're trying to do. And I suspect other donors out there have those same kinds of desires. It doesn't have to be $100, $200. We say we take any amount because we know any amount we receive helps us make deeper impacts for somebody other that may otherwise not be able to access services.
Perfect. Oh, so you have been listening to the voice of Tauhric Brown, President and CEO of CICOA Aging and In-Home Solutions. You can see why we love him. And once again, CICOA, CICOA.org for either to receive services, to inquire, or to donate to either the programs or any of the other great programs that they have. Tauhric, thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure.
So as we close the show, I just want to remind you, you can always email me directly at tina@joyshouse.org. And I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to our sponsors and our partners at Cardon and Associates. With 20 communities that are owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest and more than 40 years of senior living experience, Cardon and Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service, and we are grateful for them and everything they do. Until next time, this is Caregiver Crossing. On behalf of Terry, Stacy, and myself, take good care of each other.